All right, well, I'm going to show you guys another person's channel. I love this person's channel. I have a video I haven't uploaded yet from this person's channel, but I wanted to do this one too. Okay. Where to start? Body acceptance. So we have some extreme things going on in this world. First of all, this is a very beautiful woman. I'm going to let this man do what he does because he's going to do it way better than I do. And then I'm going to show you all of his stuff on his channel. He's just, this guy is great at what he does. I'm a person who has, as I've gotten older, put on weight. I would be in the BMI category obese, okay? Which is, people don't consider me in that category when they look at me, but I am according to what they say that your BMI should be. I'm not even in the overweight category. And I am nothing near this. She's a gorgeous woman. Like, you're going to hear her story. It's a very interesting psychological plant that the Tavistock Institute put into place. Because that's what this is. Conquer and divide, confusion, stirring up stuff. That's all this is. This is a puppet just to push another agenda. Fat Barbies and all these different types of Barbies that they've got now. Like the Barbie thing is weird. Even Legos is getting weird. I mean, it's just all... The word of the day I keep hearing is inclusive. Everything is inclusive. We've got the new normal, inclusive. What are all the words we learned in 2020 and 2021? Non-binary. I never would have thought of myself as a cis. I thought that's something that you grow and you want to remove, you know? No, that's a cyst. Anyway, all right, here we go.
Today for our daily cancellation, we turn our gaze to a woman called Tess Holiday, a morbidly obese woman who identifies as a model. Holiday has been a plus-size model and body acceptance advocate for many years. She feels very strongly that obesity is a wonderful thing and we should encourage more of it. Basically, Tess Holiday will be dead before the age of 60 and she very much wants you to join her in this act of suicide. And I understand that may seem like a harsh way of putting it, but encouraging morbid obesity is an awful, dangerous thing to do. And I think we need to be very exceedingly clear about that. Tess Holiday is easily 200 pounds overweight from the looks of it, maybe more than that. Nobody gets to that point naturally. Nobody is born that way. That isn't a thyroid condition. You have to spend many years eating a lot of food and getting very little exercise in order to achieve that sort of size. And that's why we have in the past, and should continue to, put a stigma on morbid obesity. Yeah, there should be a stigma. It's not the look that we're stigmatizing, it's sloth and gluttony, which is what leads to morbid obesity. Why do we stigmatize sloth and gluttony? Well, because those qualities will make you miserable and unhappy and unhealthy and eventually kill you. So yeah, we should stigmatize it. So when we say that Tess Holiday is an obesity advocate, what we really mean is that she advocates the behaviors, the self-destructive suicidal behaviors that lead to obesity. And for that, she should be thoroughly shamed and condemned. She doesn't care about body positivity anyway, much less self-love. She is merely trying to justify and feel better about her own vices by encouraging others to join her in them. Misery loves company. It's a truth as old as time. Now, these are all true statements about Tess Holiday, but we were never supposed to say any of that out loud. And now we're even more so supposed to shut up about it, given that Tess Holiday has found a new way to make a victim of herself. The morbidly obese woman announced on Twitter a few days ago that she's in recovery for anorexia. And we have to say that her recovery appears to be going pretty well. Here's what she said, reading from the Daily Wire article. It says, plus-size model and fat activist Tess Holiday revealed last week that she has anorexia and is in recovery.
Hey, it's Danielle here at 4 Patriots.
At that
really
note,
great news.
Patriot
Our
food.
all-time best-selling free.
Don't you
I'm
just love
anorexic
it?
and I'm in recovery. I'm not ashamed
Sometimes
to say
the
it out loud
commercial
anymore. I'm
timings
the
are
result of
great.
a culture that celebrates thinness and equates that to worth. But I get to write my own narrative now. I'm finally able to care for a body that I've punished my entire life, and I'm finally free. And then she continued, not the "but you're fat, how are you anorexic" comments. Y'all don't know how science and bodies work, do you? My technical diagnosis is anorexia.
I mean, I get why, but she's, but I get it, but it's wrong. I mean, it's a disorder like everything else out there. I mean, I've talked about this with these Hollywood actresses that turn out to be, you know what, and all of us regular women out here can never live up to those expectations. We don't have the money to go out and get our waist, a rib removed, butt implants, hip, waist, whatever. Guys going and these actors, men, they actually do put prosthetic stomach in them. They put a Adonis belt in these men. All this plastic surgery. And then they end up looking like freak shows as they get older. They just don't age well because they're constantly getting surgery. I mean, we already know what these people are, but they're just constantly getting surgery. And then you get these average Joe people out there who go out and spend fortunes on it. I can't even believe some of these people. Why, when people are struggling with like cancers and stuff, other people can go out and they get approved for surgeries for shallow reasons because it's based on their mental health, but someone else will die of leukemia because of whatever. I mean, this world is completely insane, crazy, delusional. Just do what thou wilt. I mean, this is what this message is do what thou wilt. Everything's good and just,
Nervosa, and yes, I'm still not ashamed. Okay. I'm too damn happy for y'all to even come close to dimming my shine. Responding to criticism concerning Holiday's body acceptance activism, she said, quote,
you can make fun of me.
That I can't possibly love myself and have an eating disorder. That is the actual definition of loving myself, being able to prioritize myself and be in recovery. I'm more self-aware than any of my critics, but y'all go off. In an Instagram post, Holiday similarly talked about her weight and scolded people who tell her that she looks healthy lately.
Notice the
quote, to everyone that keeps saying you're looking healthy lately or you're losing weight, keep it up.
That is a very interesting subject as far as
comment on my weight or perceived health. Keep it to yourself. Thanks. Periods in between all those words. Okay. Now, don't comment on Tess Holiday's weight. None of your business. I mean, Tess Holiday poses half naked in front of cameras every day, talks about her weight, brags about her body, constantly shares all kinds of information and imagery with the public that none of us asked to know or see. I mean, we're trying to go about our lives, and Tess Holiday is always running up with a bullhorn shouting, hey guys, let me tell you more about my body. Anyone want to hear? And yet it's none of our business. We aren't supposed to talk about it. Well, perhaps Tess Holiday needs to choose a lane here. If you're a private person living your everyday life, minding your own business, and somebody comes up to you as you walk down the street and tells you that you're fat, then sure, that person's probably a bully. But if you go up to someone else who's minding their own business and say, hi, I'm fat, isn't that great? They are well within their rights to respond and say, no, ma'am, it's not great. It's not attractive. It's not healthy. And you're going to die soon. You might not like that answer, but you brought it up. Don't want to hear the answer? Then don't bring it up. This is the rule. Anything you say to me, anything you bring up to me, I am allowed to have an opinion about. If you don't want to hear my
And so at that note, I'm going to keep going, but for people who have YouTube channels like me, I'm putting my stuff out there. If I don't like the criticism, I shouldn't do it, right? It's a great message for everybody. I'm not just listening to him. It's like, no, that's true. If you're going to put yourself out there, you should be able to take the criticism. You should be able to take a stand. That's like when I talk about biblical stuff, I need to be able to back it. So when someone challenges me, with anything, you should, if you're going to put yourself out there and bring up something, you should be able to defend it.
Don't tell me. If you don't want to hear the public's opinion, don't tell the public. But what about this claim that she's anorexic? I mean, how can that be? Good Morning America did a segment on the issue a few days ago, where they interviewed Tess Holiday, and here's what she said about it.
This morning, supermodel Tess Holiday revealing her struggle with anorexia. The mother of two saying she was recently diagnosed by a psychologist, but has ultimately been struggling with disordered eating most of her life.
I always thought that I overate.
Obviously, makeup does it
but
too.
Then people in my life would say, oh yeah, I eat more than Tess. And it was almost like I wore it as a badge of honor.
Known for loving and celebrating her curves as a body positive activist, Holiday has been receiving support for her honesty from many, but also being questioned by some online about how she could love her body and also have an eating disorder.
I've had a lot of messages from folks that
she has
are
a mask on that says vote.
Livid and angry because they feel like
this isn't popular, right?
lying. I am plus size, but advocating for diversity in larger bodies. And so I think for people hearing me say I'm anorexic was really jarring.
Holiday's dietitian, Anna Sweeney, says, if you think that most eating disorders are visible conditions, you're wrong. Eating disorders don't have to look a certain way.
I understand that people look at me and I don't fit what we have seen presented as,
this is completely,
the diagnosis
fire
for anorexia.
Your therapist or your nutritionist or whatever.
That tells me that there's a larger problem, which I've been actually saying for years, is that we have a lack of diversity and representation in the world.
Let's talk about your poop. Does it feel too hard and uncracked walnuts?
Oh my gosh. We need more diversity and representation in eating disorders.
I love it. That's so funny.
That's what she just said. For too long, skinny women have been getting all the anorexic attention. Tess Holiday believes that she's owed some of that attention too. Why should they be getting this attention? I'm here. Well, I want attention too. She believes that she's owed attention for being too fat and too skinny at the same time. She also seems to think she's stumbled on a good excuse here. She says that she thought she was overeating, and frankly, the evidence for that theory is pretty good, I have to say, but then she realized that she's anorexic, so if anything, she's undereating. It's a clever trick, you have to admit. Now, obviously, a 300-plus pound woman would not qualify under any coherent definition of the term as anorexic. The very term anorexia comes from the Greek, meaning without appetite. That's what anorexia means.
Sorry,
without
people don't
appetite.
like me laughing.
That is evidently not Tess Holiday's problem.
It's lack of food.
But anorexia is a mental illness, and as we've discussed in this segment a few times recently, mental illness is a category experiencing its own rapid inflation, shall we say. A great many mental illnesses are simply medical labels for normal human behaviors, and even many of the ones that describe some kind of legitimate condition have been expanded now into near meaningless.
To wear diapers and shut up.
Anorexia is the perfect example. Listen to the latest definition of anorexia provided by the website nationaleatingdisorders.org. To be diagnosed with anorexia, or rather anorexia nervosa, according to the DSM-5, the following criteria must be met. 1, restriction of energy intake relative to requirements leading to a significantly low body weight in the context of age, sex, developmental trajectory, and physical health. Intense fear of gaining weight or becoming fat, even though underweight. So far, so sensible. That's what you imagine when you think of an anorexic person, right? Underweight, little appetite, not eating much, afraid of getting fat, etc. But then there's the third definition added recently. Quote, disturbance in the way in which one's body weight or shape is experienced, undue influence of body weight or shape on self-evaluation, or denial of the seriousness of the current low body weight.
I mean...
Well, there it is.
Let's think about that for a second. I gotta look at that one more time. I mean...
Well, there it is.
No. Sorry, I want to look at...
But then there's the third definition of an anorexic person, right? Underweight.
I'm sorry.
Little appetite, not eating much, afraid of getting fat, etc. But then there's the third definition added recently. Quote, disturbance
in the way in which one's body weight or shape is experienced, undue influence of body weight or shape on self-evaluation, or denial of seriousness of the current low body weight. Okay. Why is that?
The way in which one's body weight or shape is experienced, undue influence of body weight or shape on self-evaluation, or denial of the seriousness of the current low body weight. Well, there it is. Undue influence of body weight or shape on self-evaluation. In other words, everyone is anorexic. Did you know that? You're anorexic. So am I. We all are. Welcome to the club. Every single person on earth is anorexic, because it could be argued that all of us, at least one point or another, have been overly concerned about our body weight or shape. What counts as undue influence? I mean, how much influence is due, and who decides that? Who decides when it's undue? Well, nobody does. It's all subjective. It's all arbitrary. It's a one-size-fits-all label. That's the point. We live in a culture where many people are desperate to be victims, desperate to relieve themselves of the burden of agency and self-determination. Unfortunately, the medical industry is more than happy to oblige, which is how Tess Holiday gets to be a morbid, obese, body positivity advocate who brags about her obesity, yet at the same time is not responsible for obesity because somehow it's a symptom of a disorder which, for everyone else, causes a catastrophic loss of body weight. It doesn't make any sense at all. No sense. But it's not supposed to. This is what makes Tess Holiday feel the best about herself and her choices, and that's all that matters. That's all that matters. So, for that reason, we have to say that Tess Holiday today is canceled. Listen,
Canceled.
hit that subscribe button right now.
All right.
Do it right now.
I already did.
I thank you for your compliance.
You're welcome.
It is somewhat appreciated.
You're so welcome. Okay.
We're giving away the $100 Trump Gold Bar for free.
Stock up, people. Stock up.
No hidden charges. No recurring.
I'm thinking about investing. What about you? So here's some of his videos are really clever. The left wants to normalize female facial hair. Well, they should, man. I want to grow my beard. Come on. One day we'll all be wearing, because they won't have razors anymore, so we'll all be walking around like hairy monkeys. You know it. Get used to it. Men and women are not going to be shaving pretty long for very long. Oh. Anyway, these are the topics. He's really good. This is a really good one. He reads the entire book. I did a video on the book from someone else's video. It was like on the news of a little boy and his mom or whatever reading the book. They didn't do the entire book, but he reads the book. It's so funny. So check that out. Maybe I'll mirror it. I just don't want to mirror every video because it's like he's doing all the work. Why should I try to like mirror every once in a while someone's channel and give them credit and show all their stuff? But so anyway, check out his channel. I'll post a link to this video. But he goes after these feminists, and it's I used to think that I'm not a feminist by any means. I just don't like jerky, controlling, narcissistic men. But that doesn't make me a feminist. So, there's a lot. I haven't watched all of these. Oh. Anyway. All right. Well, I love you guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye.